NextGen series of the Balkan Forum podcast guests are the ones shaping the future of the Western Balkans. It is an energizing series with the most optimistic demography of our region. The guest of this episode is Gogo Rafajlovski. He is the operational director at the Southeast European University TechPark and IP consultant, who helps entrepreneurs and innovative startups reach out their maximum potential. Gogo has an ongoing 15-year career in managing startup centers, incubators, accelerators, and tech sparks, and as experienced business consultant, has mentored over 100 startups. Gogo, thank you so much for being the guest of this episode of NextGen podcast.
Thank you, Linda, for inviting me.
What is the Southeast European University TechPark?
Yes, actually the name says itself. So CU TechPark is a university-based technology park based in Tetovo, in North Macedonia. We've been operating for more than 10 years now. We've begun since 2013, but we got incorporated later on in 2015 as a LLC or for-profit organization. And we are very proud to be working along with startups on this journey. And of course, we are one of the major and most active players in the Macedonian startup ecosystem, but also in the regional startup ecosystem as well.
From its inception and onwards, what are some of the noteworthy milestones that have been attained by the TechPark?
Well, we are very proud that so far we have helped more than 75 startups in our journey. And by 75, I mean in a tailor-made manner. So a lot of these startups comes from different verticals, have different background, but also different industry and tackling different problems. We also have created more than 200 new tech jobs here in on the local market, because these tech jobs not only provide employment for young people and new generation, but they introduce new technologies, new products and services to our market. We also have helped founders close up to 1 million round of investments, which I think is significant because we have direct foreign and direct capital injected in our technology and into our businesses, but we also like learning the know-how, how to actually raise some other rounds and deal with different kinds of investors. And of course, recently we have opened a new flagship project, which is called 700 Accelerator, and it is a special program for startups and scale-up. And we kind of did it with the help of the GIC, but also the private investors from our country. And we have just helped the first batch of startups to enter the program and to become more investor ready and become more sustainable in the long run.
That's an impressive list of milestones that you just mentioned. But what would you say is the most significant impact that the TechPark has brought?
Actually, from the very beginning, we have this tailor-made approach to our products and services. So it was not a significant on one or two programs that each startup can enter and then exit in a time frame. But we also had this, take whatever you need, wherever you need. So actually it's depending on the startup or the scale-up, pulling up those services that we can provide and making them this tailor-made approach. One thing we also did along with the university is we provide one turnkey access to both university staff, university academic and alumni, but also infrastructure like office space, fiber internet, but also labs, makerspace, all the technical equipment that is on the university. So this is kind of what was a good package for startups and scale-ups because they got this whole package of not only products and services, but also infrastructure on hand. One thing I want to mention, we are very, very active outside of Skopje. So we are operating into this Polog region, but we operate to the whole country. It's very also difficult, but also challenging to work outside the capital, because on one hand, you have great founders and great ideas with great startups that are allocated through the whole country, but also don't have the same access to the services and product like the ones in the capital. So for this is a strategic objective for the CU TechPark. And of course, being self-sustainable and not donor-oriented help us through the years to build market products and services that we can sell actually on the market, and we can sell not only nationally but international as well. And we have these unique services like startup valuation or intellectual property management or crowdfunding support, then actually we can leverage on the international market as well.
Actually, that was going to be my next question. How is the TechPark enhancing the ecosystem, both in North Macedonia and the region?
So from the very beginning, we were one of the most active founders of Startup Macedonia, actually. That is the one umbrella organization dealing with startups, corporate donors, but also programs and services, also tackling the government here in North Macedonia. Also, CU TechPark is one of the founders or co-founders of the Western Balkan Startup Alliance, which actually is Western Balkan initiatives from hubs and hub managers that we want to bring this region as a whole, this Western Balkan 6 countries, more close to international programs, international investors, VCs, but also bring startup initiatives for the most promising startups here in the region to deal with let's say, conquering the world or Europe through this region. So these initiatives are a very good tool, not only for our startup, but also for hubs and hub managers to actually bring closer to EU and Western capital, let's say, capitalized world. On the other side, we are also active on the policy change paper and legislation. Through these initiatives, we already, let's say, from Startup Macedonia, we initiated this policy change paper that we gave to the government. And actually, they took it quite seriously. They introduced some initiatives like opening a company with only €1 capital, also introducing like convertible loans, but also considering some tax initiatives for the investors that can bring forward this ecosystem to be more prosperous. We also do it in the Western Balkan Startup Alliance initiatives, which is kind of a bit complicated because we're dealing with different legislation and different cultures, but it's similar as all of our countries have this similar level of development of our ecosystem. We also are boosting local business angels clubs. For example, last year, together with EBRD here in North Macedonia, we organized a training for early stage investors or for business angels to give them tool, knowledge, but also deal flow to invest or co-invest into startup with us.
That all sounds very interesting changes, but which are some of the communities or perspectives that have experienced the most profound effects due to the work that your TechPark is doing?
I would emphasize the university students, because we started with them here at our university, and they're the driving force to what we actually do. Also, startup founders are among key players here. The one that are intervened with our products and services, but also we kind of learned that we have to deal with freelancers, because these days freelancers are the most, let's say, active ones on the market. They're dealing with different markets, have already some clients available. So we realized that out of these freelancers can become a lot of good startup ideas that can actually turn up into very good or sustainable startups. And we specialize with scale-ups. Scale-up for us means that startups that already have been incorporated, they have their products or service, and they're having sales already in place. So for us, it's one filter that we have in mind when we talk about scale-ups and potential conquering different markets.
What are some of the main activities that you have upcoming, and what are those anticipated outcomes of such activities?
Yes, so we just finished is the first batch of startups enrolled in our 700 accelerator. And these 6 startups actually have been filtered out together with our co-investors or business angels. So they have a good chance of securing the first round. So we give up to 40K per startup team if they secure a co-investment of minimum 10,000 euros. But majority of them are already negotiating with different kinds of investors for a larger sum. That I think this co-investment policy will be our flagship project through the years. So we give them opportunities, we give them tools, deal flow, but also platform and network of experienced business angels from the Europe and United States to actually boost the co-investment or the early stage investment into the startups. We also finished this one program that was tackling women in rural areas and green entrepreneurship. And we did it with our partners from Slovakia, actually. And 10 out of these women-led startups have just finished the program, and 3 of them were given equity-free award of 4,000 euros each to pursue their dreams and business idea. So tackling different aspects like green circular economy, it's also important to us, and also women entrepreneurship that I think should be emphasized in especially in Western Balkans. And last, we want to introduce this new hackathon, which is scheduled on 15th and 16th of September. It's called Green Solution Hackathon, and it's made for students, but also early stage startups. And we deal with different topics like climate change, waste management, circular economy, preserving the environment issues. And we have onboarded several international partners as GIZ, USAID, Pro Credit Bank here nationally, and one of our partners, Networker. And this is a great way to move things forward and actually boost one of some of the early stage startups and students into becoming successful entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Gogo, for such a great overview of the work that your TechPark is doing. On behalf of the Balkan Forum team, thank you for your time and for sharing that information with us.
It was my pleasure, Linda, and many more successes with the Balkan Forum podcast.
Thank you. Hope to see you soon in Pristina or in Tetova.